Well, here I am outside in front of the Apollo Hospital. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning. This is the place I usually come and sit on this little rise, this little grassy area. Seems like it's the place to come early each morning and sit. And there's all those windows. Every time I sit here and I start to do my sticks, it seems like I gain a big audience over there in those windows. Everybody in the room's looking out at me. So it's kind of interesting. See if I can turn the camera around and maybe videotape myself a little bit. Oh, that looks pretty good. So, yeah, now you can see me and I'm recording. Yeah, so here I am sitting in my yoga position, drinking my little morning 7 rupee coffee. There we go. The sun's coming off up to my left over there. It gets a little warm out here after a while. So that's kind of what it's about each morning, coming out here and sitting. And waiting for some other friends that have been coming out here regularly to show up, so that I always have a chance to talk to everybody. And I see people walking around. Well, let's see, what's the summation of my thing here? Tomorrow I'm supposed to go to Surat. That's the place to find out about my
we're on the road to Surat. This is a nice
getting the textiles, the angel wings, as I'm starting to call them lately, sewn. And hopefully I'll work itself out. It'll be a trip anyway. Going back into the dentist this morning to get some stitches removed and perhaps have a little final look-see, see what's going on, for maybe put that partial thing in as a temporary till I come back. Anyone coming to this hospital, I think, would be treated really well. They were telling me they wished all Americans were kind of like me. I said I kind of doubt I'm a bit the exception, but most everybody's nice and they would probably enjoy them pretty well. I would say it's a really worthwhile thing to have someone be able to come here and get their medical work done or dental work done. You're certainly going to have as nice of an experience as you could have in most places in the world. Certainly the United States might in some cases have nicer facilities and all these people running around in their nice crispy uniforms and whatnot, but the great truth is you're not going to get any better care. These people are trained in all the finest universities in the world, and they come here back to India to work. And they give out the best of care, and they keep themselves abreast with the most modern equipment, so that you wouldn't have much to fear in that way. One thing I did notice is that driving from the airport the first time, there was a great deal of you just don't expect the poverty that you start to see when you start to drive. And I think it's a good thing for people to realize one fundamental fact about it, which is what I arrived at, and that is that when you come to India for medical work of whatever kind, whether it's dental, like in my case, or whatever, you're coming here specifically because it's less expensive, and that less expense is all about poverty. And without that poverty, you wouldn't be here. Not that I recommend poverty, but it made me realize that when you're coming to a place like this, you have to anticipate there is poverty. But at the same time there's poverty, there's also wealth. When you have 1.1 billion people, that means that of those 1.1 billion, about 750 million at least are totally poor by most standards in the world, but 25% or so or more are of a higher standard of living. And that standard of living is somewhat equivalent to what it might be in other countries, Western countries, U.S. as an example. All of my experiences in going to dental places in the U.S. basically is that it costs you a lot of money and you get good treatment. Although most of the dentists try to parcel out that treatment one little chunk at a time to maximize how much they can charge you. So if you need a few fillings, they'll give you one filling a month for 6 months and maximize each visit. Whereas a place like this, you'll come and you get all of that work done at once, and it'll only be about 10% or 15% of what it would be in most cases in the U.S.
Balloons.
That's quite a savings. If you have to have a lot of work done, then that savings could mean thousands of dollars, like in my case. I know the dentists in the U.S. don't like to hear that, but I didn't make up those rules that they charge so much. Their fear is that they're losing business. Can you imagine that, losing business? You have a health problem and they're losing business. Isn't that something? The American system of health is based on profit. That means for every dollar that you spend on your health, 75 cents of that is going into somebody's profitable pocket. Now, it could be an insurance company, or it could be the hospital system having to charge more, trying to compensate for people that they have to treat under emergency conditions, and that it's the way the law is written. If you try to go in for a regular appointment, they charge you as much as they normally charge, which is based on inflated insurance prices. So people wait and go to the emergency rooms, and when they do that, of course, if the government pays for it, then the government pays an inflated emergency room charge rather than one that would be normal. And the insurance companies, when they get stuck with the bill, it's through inflated prices, and everybody pays the price. I think Senator Kucinich has got the right idea when he says we got to take the profit out of the healthcare system in America. I think it's a fundamental sin that they make profit off of your illness, your cancer, your diabetes, whatever your problem is. It is a fundamental sin. And Americans should wake up. One of the greatest fears most people in America have is if they do get sick, the hospitals, collection agencies can take all of your property, take your home, take everything you own. The new bankruptcy laws pushed through by the Republicans allowed this to happen even worse. So, if all uninsured Americans, or all Americans not covered by insurance, were to stop working for a day or two, America would shut down in its tracks. And I think America would then learn the value of these people that they've ignored for so long. America also doesn't care about the small beginning entrepreneur. They put that first step so high that most people can't get there, so we're stuck in this endless round of minimum wage with hardly any way to get out of it. This is another great sin America's created for itself. It thinks that all of its $100 fees, $300 fees for these various taxes and things like that is really appropriate. But the great truth is that just puts a boot right on the neck of the poorest of the poor and doesn't allow them to make any real progress and take advantage of the entrepreneurial possibilities in America. And simultaneous to that, this globalization thing going on seems to mean that more and more imports are coming in from various countries by those who can afford to bring them in. And that, again, means a great big first step, because the small entrepreneur can't quite make that step. So in the festivals and places that we sell our products, they allow more and more imports nowadays. And I'm competing with things that cost 25 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents an hour from all these various countries, especially China, of course, and even here in India. So the great problem is, how do you compete with that? There's not much competition that you can do. You can't compete with something that can undercut you by such a great thing. If there's two items being sold and one's made in China at 25 to 30, 40 cents an hour, and mine is made in the U.S. at $10 to $15 an hour, who do you think is going to win? Certainly not me. Hopefully this little insight will come to some value.